I think jobs will be cut down for sure. So same number of jobs will not be there.
He asked me one day, I wake up in the morning, he said, chat GPT use कर रहे हो क्या तुम लोग? मैंने कहा नहीं. So he said, will it impact your business? I said yes, in multiple ways. कहते jobs भी कम करनी पड़ेंगी क्या तुम लोगों को? What are the AI tools we are using right now?
First AI tool that we use a lot is in design, that is Adobe's Photoshop on generative fill. The AI asked me another question that okay, on which parameter you want to judge? CTR, conversion rate,
Wow.
ROS.
And I feel the AI cannot do the hard work for you. And by hard work, I really mean sitting and solving core business problems. So this news just told that many larger agencies, the Ogilvy's of the world, they are letting go of senior and mid management. Which jobs you think will be the last ones to be replaced by AI?
Maybe a lawyer?
Definitely. Hey everyone, we are back to another episode of Marketing Gossip. And this time we are discussing what everyone else in the industry is discussing. We are discussing AI. And I'm not just discussing AI as in a concept, I'm going to discuss its impact, what we are seeing in our own agency, the tools that we are using in our own agency. And at the same time, I really want to focus on its like direct actual impact that we are seeing in the team, Nitin. And it's important also because I don't want to discuss the broader, bigger concepts. I want to talk about actual things that we are seeing internally,
Right.
right? And I want both of us to be honest.
I will be.
Let's start it then. So Nitin, let's start by discussing what are the AI tools we are using right now, and in which departments. And after that, I'll also want to discuss its impact in the team.
So I think first AI tool that we use a lot is in design, that is Adobe's Photoshop on generative fill. It's something called generative fill.
What does it do?
So what it does is that if you have an image that somehow seems incomplete. So for example, if you're sitting here, right, and we need to extend that blue background a bit more, right? So I can use generative fill, and the tool itself create that blue background in let's say for the next a quarter of inches or to the next
Wow,
frame,
fantastic.
right?
It's interesting because I don't know that we're using it internally.
Yes, we are, and we are using it quite a lot because sometimes what happen is that when photography is being done for products, right, and you have to make a creative out of it, you feel that the background is not complete, right? So you have to have add another layer of it. Earlier it was very difficult because you have to create that white that background and then merge that product into that background. But right now it's just couple of clicks. You can recreate that space with the help of generative fill. So that is one tool that we are using a lot.
Before we move on to the other tool,
Yeah.
This tool from Adobe, I want to understand if I had to do it without this AI, how much time would it take? Basically, how much time I'm saving by doing this?
If you ask me, I will not do it at all.
Okay.
I'll simply say let's ignore it because I mean it's quite difficult because I mean some of the images it's easy. It depends on product to product because it might take 15 to 20 minutes for certain products.
Wow.
But in some cases it might take 2 hours to create that background. So it depends what I'm dealing with.
And how much we are paying for this tool?
It's in the pack that Adobe subscription that we have. We are not paying anything extra to use it.
That's even better.
Yes, that's even better.
So
Cherry
cheap,
on the
right?
top.
So cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess AI tools are not expensive at all, the way I see it, because the kind of efficiency they bring in, it's most of them are great value for money.
What's the next tool then apart from this?
So since we are talking in design team, another tool is Midjourney. We are using it to create images. A lot of time, some of the smaller brands we are dealing with, or they don't have a lot of photography in place, right? So we are using Midjourney to showcase their product, that how would they look if some model or of some real person is using it. So I think that tool is great, although it takes some kind of experience, that how would you write that command and how frequent that you use that tool. But once you are familiar, it's a great tool.
But before we move on to the other tool, this is the tool I think which we had actually used it together before we actually brought it in the agency.
Right.
I understand its limitations though.
Yes.
Like some of the images it creates, it's not good in the sense that you can look at it and say that this is from AI.
Right.
And some of the people that I'm talking to right now, they are using images generated from Midjourney. It's another thing that I'll want to discuss later on. But the good thing about that tool is that I absolutely love those images you cannot find anywhere. There's one example I remember. We had to generate these two couples running on Indian streets,
Right.
because we were not able to find this image.
Two elderly couples.
Two elderly couples, exactly. Two elderly couples, and we were not able to find this image anywhere. And Midjourney kind of created it in few seconds,
Right.
if not minutes, right? So I think that's what I love about it. But next question again is, how much time is it saving, do you think?
See, since that you said that we cannot find that image and Midjourney created, then by logic I will say infinity, because that thing
Yeah,
was not
basic.
existing, right?
It's basically not just saving time, it's also filling
Yes,
filling
yes.
in new spaces, right?
Yes, yes. It's not just saving time. It's creating new images that's not being there, that you can't find anywhere else. So that's a huge plus point apart from just saving time. Saving time is just one aspect of it. Other is creating in new products, new images, new perspectives that's not been there in your imagination. Because in India, an elderly couple running is a rare sight. When was the last time you saw an Indian couple together running? We can't see that a lot, right? I mean,
That's true.
it's not.
That's true.
And even if you see, I mean, to have a great shot that you can use it in ad, it's another challenge.
एंड ये सिर्फ डिजाइनर्स यूज कर रहे हैं या कॉपीराइटर्स भी यूज कर रहे हैं हमारी टीम में?
I think designers are just, I mean, getting the credit for it, but I guess copywriters are the one who's running the show. So they have been using it to put their ideas into perspective. That how when they write and copy, so they have certain ideas in their mind that how the end creative will look like.
Yeah.
So Midjourney, tools like Midjourney actually enabled them to put those ideas into the plate, that okay, this is what I want, and now a designer can actually implement that idea with much more depth and much more detail.
This is such a fantastic point. I never thought of it. So Midjourney is not basically empowering my designers or the team as a whole. It's also empowering my copywriters. I'm looking, by the way, because my teammate copywriter is sitting there. But this is an amazing point, I think, because I feel that even when I was in the initial years of my agency, I had this trouble of creating images, because sometimes you had to do this on your own. I did a lot of times, and I feel that it was a big pain finding just a few images. So
Right.
even as a copywriter, it is solving my problem, and I'm sure it must be for the founder or maybe for the HR team in later point in time.
I would say, I mean, the way I look at it's for the business at all in larger sense, right? Because it's if it is solving problem at one individual or one team, eventually it's contributing to my overall success as a business or overall marketing efforts.
Correct. And how much are we paying for it?
I think it's not somewhere like $20 to $30 a month. I'm not sure about the pricing. It's been like 1 year or so, or maybe 8-9 months since we're using. But I think it's
Still
somewhere
very
around
cheap
that.
though, right?
Yeah, still very cheap.
And what else are we using internally?
I think there is another tool called Delhi, again similar to Midjourney, but I think some limitations of Midjourney has been solved by Delhi, so we are using that as well. Somehow our copywriting teams like Delhi more than Midjourney. Personally, I like Midjourney more, but I think it's a choice of personal preference that which tool you are more comfortable with. So I think that is another tool that we are using in design team.
And apart from this, ChatGPT, have you seen? I know that a lot of people internally are using it, but personally, have you seen any of your direct people that you work with? Are they using ChatGPT as of now?
Yes, a lot. And sometimes it worries me that maybe they'll stop writing it all together, and ChatGPT is the guy. ChatGPT not the guy, but ChatGPT is a tool that will get the job done. But yes, I have seen my design team, my copywriting team using ChatGPT, Delhi, Midjourney, and yes, Adobe Generative Fill.
I do feel that the kind of applications ChatGPT has, not everyone in the team is using it to the full capacity. But do you agree to it?
Definitely. I guess, I mean, that is the case with every tool. So it's like saying that not everyone is using Excel to its full potential. Definitely not.
Hmm. This is a good
Because the
point.
kind of applications that Excel offers,
Hmm.
it's like amazing. It's a full-fledged, like 5 to 10 products jumbled into one. That
Hmm.
is the kind of application that Excel has.
Hmm.
Same goes with the Chat GPT. It offers a lot. It depends upon
Hmm.
individual, that how
Hmm.
much you want to get out of it, how capable you are to
Hmm.
get the maximum out of it.
Hmm. But yeah, this one difference. If I'm using Excel, by the way, so I know that there are thousands of functions that I'm not aware of. I need to actually learn those functions. But in ChatGPT, I can do everything with a prompt.
Hmm.
And the reason I think a lot of people are still not able to understand or use it to the full potential is because I think their brief is not clear. They don't know how much they can get out of it just by simply writing the sentences.
Yes, I mean that case is there, and this is the reason I guess OpenAI and even Google with Gemini, they are trying to solve this prompt problem.
Hmm.
I believe in the coming months, prompts will also be easy,
Hmm.
because I'll give you one context. So there is, I mean, you know that we are also building our own AI for
Yes, we are.
analytics, right? So when we were testing out that
Hmm.
product, so I simply write a prompt saying that, okay, which ad is my best performing ad,
Hmm.
right? Then the tool asked that what is the time period. So I said, okay, which ad is my best performing ad in the last, let's say, 30 days. So now the tool asked me another question that, okay, the AI asked me another question that, okay, on which parameter you want to judge? CTR, conversion rate,
Wow.
ROS. What do you want to judge? On what basis you want to find that out? But in my language, or in our language, we have a very clear predefined question in our agency. When
Yeah.
I ask about an ad, it's always about CTR and ROS,
Correct.
right? But the AI doesn't know that.
Hmm.
So it's not about that we are not equipped, or someone is not equipped to writing that prompt. It's more about that as humans, we have certain predefined, I would say, words or predefined sentences that we don't speak, but
Hmm.
it's inculcated within that sentence.
Hmm.
We know what it means,
Hmm.
and when we are talking to AI, we need to define that.
Hmm.
And I guess that is a gap that's been there, and that is the reason that all of us are not being able to use
Hmm.
AI to its full potential. But in the coming months, companies will solve it, and they are trying to solve it, and prompts will get shorter and shorter with time. Eventually it will become like a communication that you have one to one with a human, and you don't have to define all the parameters.
But this gives me a very good insight. So a lot of people I talk to, one star contrast that I feel is on a spectrum of 0 to 1. 0 is where people really don't know what the brief is. They will simply say we are not able to increase sales.
Right.
That's it. No other context what they have been doing, what they are trying to do right now. Then there is another person where I don't have to ask single question back, and they are ready with almost everything that I really want to know. So I think the people who will be able to get the best out of AI is going to be these people who have a very solid understanding of how to give brief.
Definitely.
And a lot of people say that prompt engineering is kind of coming up as a subject. I don't believe it in personally. I think prompts are basically a really good brief, and if you can give good briefs, I think you can give good results. And I'm saying this because I am also doing that. I'm getting really good results out of ChatGPT, even when I'm creating proposals, even when sometimes, not all the time, writing emails, or sometimes when I need ideas. So the only thing that I really do is I simply write really good briefs. I think that's the only differentiator. You don't need to be really good with prompts even in the longer run.
Yeah, I mean, this prompt thing is bogus. As I believe that even, I mean, companies are spending a lot of money to shorten the length of these prompts, and eventually everyone will get the hang of it. It's not just that you have to do an engineering for prompts. I
Yeah,
mean, that's not the case.
I found it stupid as well.
It is.
All right, so let's move on, Nitin. And I think we discussed the tools, we discussed the pricing. ChatGPT, I think everyone knows it's $20 per month. I want to now talk about its actual impact in the overall operations. Now, the first thing I asked was what is the difference between the time, and we looked at how Mid Journey is kind of giving you images that you could not find anywhere. But my real question is, what is the larger impact that you have seen on the operations right now?
I think, I mean, see, operations, I would say, efficiency has definitely increased, and some of the things that we were not doing earlier, we can do them right now. So, to another example would be, there is a tool called Adobe Lightroom, I guess. So earlier we were facing challenges again. Some If some product doesn't have a photography or good photography, you have to hire a photographer, you have to hire a place, and then you click some photos. It's a lot of expense, not just money, but also you have to invest a lot of time. But with tools like that, you can do that with sitting in your office. Just click one good photo in your phone, and use that app to give it a background, and yes, you are good to go. So I guess the impact is humongous. The efficiency is definitely there. So I mean, overall, I would say it's a time saver. It's a game changer. So the overall impact of AI would be more than internet. I would say it's going to take the world by storm. It's just building up, but I think the overall impact will be huge.
So there is one faction of society which says that it's going to have I'm moving towards the context of job.
Right.
So a lot of people are saying that this will impact the current jobs, like they will have to cut down a lot of positions. But some those same people are saying that the new jobs will be created. What's your opinion on this?
I think jobs will be cut down for sure. So same number of jobs will not be there. And recently, I was listening to one CEO of a robot company, right? Someone who is making manufacturing robots, and she says that once you have robots in your manufacturing facility working for you, then also you need human as a manager to manage them. I find it laughable. It's not at all
Why
true.
was that?
So I mean, see, for a manufacturing facility, if you need 100 guys working, right, you cannot have 100 managers for 100 robots. It simply doesn't hold.
Okay, so she was saying that for every robot you need one manager.
Yeah, I mean, something like that. So if you have 100 robots working for you, at max you have two guys to manage them. That's all. 98 jobs are cut. So now you say that, okay, we can fill that 98 jobs by someone who is creating those robots or something like that. I don't believe that. So jobs are definitely going to be cut. And recently I have heard that Nitin Gadkari, our cabinet minister, he also said that we are thinking that we will not allow autonomous cars in India because it will cut jobs in India, and we don't want that. So I mean, I guess countries are worried, and CEOs are worried. Working for like IT companies or BPO companies, everyone is shifting to cutting down their headcount. So yes, jobs are definitely going to be impacted. There is no doubt, at least in my head.
And for me, the biggest the benchmark of whether the impact is coming or not is my father. And I'll give you one example again. So he asked me one day, I wake up in the morning, he said, chat GPT use कर रहे हो क्या तुम लोग? मैंने कहा नहीं. So he said, will it impact your business? I said yes, in multiple ways. कहते jobs भी कम करनी पड़ेंगी क्या तुम लोगों को? So point I'm trying to say is, we had a lot of technologies coming in last 10-20 years. When my father was in bank, internet actually came into existence, right? So internet banking was not a thing back in those days. But even then, this kind of impact was not discussed, right?
Right.
And even when we had data centers coming in the last 10 years, right, massively, new technologies came in. Nobody like my father was discussing it. But when something like ChatGPT makes into our lives, they are being discussed by someone who is just in retirement. They really don't know that what they haven't even used it, but they know that it's going to impact in subsequent ways. So I feel that it's making progress, and ChatGPT is kind of entering the lives of people we don't even really know, from students to people who have actually retired.
Right.
So I think the impact is going to be huge. The only thing we don't really know is how big will be the impact.
Right.
Whether that job cut is going to be 5%, 10%, or 50%,
Right.
which is a very big number.
And also, I think this is something that is being constantly evolving. So, I mean, since we are talking a lot about what it can do, I'll also want to discuss what it cannot do.
And that's a good thing. Please go ahead. I want
Right.
to listen.
So, large language LLMs or large language models are basically which can get data from a lot of public sources, and then you can come up with answers or formulate an answer out of it. But if you give them data, a huge data to analyze and then answer, I have seen in the case of both Gemini and ChatGPT that they will falter on basic calculations like addition and subtraction.
Yeah, we are actually seeing this.
We
I
are
was
actually seeing
talking
this.
to Shavi the other day, and he
Yes.
mentioned it.
So they are not built for that. So there are also limitations as of now, but it will iron out. It may take 1 year, it may take 3, it may take 5, but we will get there. So I think 5% job cut will not be there. It will be in double digits. Where it will go, we have to see. But I guess it will be impact will be more than that.
Okay, so the other thing that I want to discuss from again the job perspective is the AI's impact from generative AI perspective. Everyone is discussing it, but there is AI already in play which no one is discussing. People call it under the umbrella of algorithms, but it's not that. I'm talking about the AI which is being implemented by performance marketing platforms like Facebook and Google, Meta in this case particularly. How do you think that is impacting the current operations?
See, I mean, recently what Meta is trying to do, so Meta figured out that they need new advertisers on their platform. And to bring in new advertisers, they have to cut down on operational cost.
Hmm.
So they are making their platform more simpler to use, less reliable on human capital, and also for creatives. So they are making creatives simpler or automating creatives, that you don't have to hire a different creative person for if you have a smaller business to run. Not for I will say somebody who is spending, let's say, 50 lakhs a month, but somebody who wants to start with, let's say, 3 to 5 lakhs a month. So they want new smaller businesses on their platform, and what I have heard is that they want, and by doing so they will be able to achieve additional 20 to 30% of additional ad revenue.
Yes, yes.
So what they are doing is they are making it simpler by adding more AI to it, by making it more autonomous, making it more simpler for the new upcoming businesses.
Yeah, and I think we were discussing it the other day. So Meta's major revenue is coming from the small businesses,
Small businesses.
contrast to Google, which is getting it from larger business.
Right.
And even we know this on the ground. These businesses face problem because they don't have the capacity to create ad creatives. They find the cost high, and the reason this is actually impacting Meta's revenue. If they can make good creatives using Gen AI or Facebook itself, naturally the Facebook's ad revenue will increase.
But I want to point out one thing
Please.
here, and it's a bit out of context maybe. But when new advertiser will come on board, the CPMs will increase. So I don't know how Meta will counter that, because if the ROS is going down by
Agreed.
adding more
Agreed.
advertisers on the platform, the revenue you are getting now, that will diminish, unless or until you are adding more or I would say new users to your user base, which is I guess not happening with that kind of growth we have seen on at least on Meta.
So what you just said, that this will actually probably not give the right results. I will put it in the bucket of what things AI cannot do, right? So AI,
Yes.
AI can actually make them make new creatives, but the what Facebook is trying to do, probably they will not be able to generate business for them, right?
Right.
So they will
Not at least 20 to 30% that they are hoping for.
Exactly, and I think they most importantly, I feel they will not be able to enable the businesses to generate revenue. So what they are saying is, give me the inputs, I will create an ad creative for you. Great, very good. But the problem is, they really are not going to sit back with the business owner and actually tell them what is the impact of this ad on your revenue.
Right.
If it's working, fantastic, but the moment it goes south, there is nobody you can go and ask question to why it's not working, and then the whole idea of brand marketing is not there,
Right.
right?
Right.
But again, brand marketing, I think I was again this point I wanted to discuss with you. What is the impact of generative AI on brand marketing? I'm thinking of all the people who are telling me that the new ads, the new creatives. In fact, some people are even creating their logos and packaging done from AI.
I think it's great, but one of the thing I noticed while using AI is if you use too much of it, everything will start looking same. At least for now.
At least for now, yes,
At
I
least for
also
now,
feel that.
right? So there that sometimes that what we say is that if everything is too perfect, right? So it I mean all will look alike. There is no variation to it,
Correct.
right? So sometimes a little imperfection is needed. So I will say everything cannot be left to AI. Yes, definitely it will improve efficiency. It has been improving efficiency as of now. That efficiency is whether 20% or 70%, that we have to see. But it cannot be 100% left out to AI, because then again if every logo or every messaging will be looking same, right? Then the brand positioning or the brand communication which makes some brands unique, that will be gone.
Yeah. And I feel the AI cannot do the hard work for you. And by hard work, I really mean sitting and solving core business problems. So generative AI can of course solve the executional stuff, but even when those execution needed a certain guidance. The simpler examples are you can get ideas of let's say 100 copies. You can get ideas for 10 different logos. But which one to actually choose, someone has to sit and decide.
Definitely, I mean, as I said, it's a matter of efficiency, not a replacement as of now. Yes, efficiency will replace some of the workforce, but it's not a complete replacement. There will be
Correct.
partial replacement that we are talking about.
Can you give me an idea about how AI you feel will impact the management teams?
Management, I would say soft skills will be needed.
This is a good one.
So I mean, I will put it into perspective. So somebody who is a good team lead, who knows how to handle a team, who has certain core skills, but a lot of soft skills, talking to client, understanding their problems, business problems, and executing them within teams, and communicating them. So that will be needed. But a lot of core skills, that dependency will be less, as we progress with time, that dependency will be gone completely. So core skills will not be needed as we go along.
That's good. I'll talk about one thing that I would want AI to do for me, right?
What
And
is
I would
that?
want you to answer that as well. So for me, I think one application that I do see and it has great, I think, implications for every business owner is cross-border commerce. So let's say if I have to do business with someone sitting in Nigeria or someone sitting in Japan, one of the biggest reasons people are not able to do businesses from other countries is I think the cultural aspect. You cannot talk in their language. If something like that can be done, like if I'm talking to them in my language, English, normal English, and it's being translated in real time in Japanese, it would be an amazing feature. I don't know if something like that exists or
I
not.
think it already does, and I think it's pretty solvable,
Hmm.
right? So I think it will be definitely there. If I'm not wrong, it's already there.
Yeah, by the way, guys, if you know of any such tool, I would want you to comment in YouTube and even on Instagram. But yeah, what would you want AI to do for you?
I think my time mostly goes for in analysis, or my operations team mostly they do a lot of number crunching and all. So what I need is I'm already building. So I'm going to build some capability in LLM models, that they will crunch the numbers for me, they will analyze those numbers, and they will come up with analysis and strategies. I don't want my team sitting on some Excel crunching the numbers, that okay, which parameter goes south for a client or a campaign, and AI should come and tell that okay, this day or this campaign goes wrong because my conversion rate is not there, or my CTR is not there. And I guess by doing so, we will be saving a lot of time, a lot of time.
Correct.
So if I have to go a bit more further with this, I will say diagnosis.
Yeah. No, actually, the first model that we had built, I was able to test it with Shavi. Shavi, by the way, is our co-founder who leads the technology with us. So I was discussing it with him, and he kind of gave me one ad account. It had less ad spend because we were just testing the model. It gave me the answers that I really wanted. Like if I have to, if I'm on a call and I have to audit an account, I can literally do it in minutes.
Right.
Right, so I just have to write one query, get all the answers that I want. Yes, of course there are a lot of things which will be needed to be put into place for larger ad spends for ad accounts with larger history. But as of now, I feel if I can get that, and please get it to me as soon as possible, I think it will be a game changer for everyone.
It save a lot of time, and also uh, the purpose of building this tool is to enable humans, or is to enable teams, that they should spend more time thinking about strategic stuff or thinking about larger business problems rather than crunching numbers.
Absolutely, I feel that's the idea. I think it will enable a lot of people to do the discussions which they can't do without like going into the dashboards, without looking at large Excel sheets and making sense of it. If I have to make sense of it, and the tool is doing it in, let's say, seconds, nothing like that. So
Yes,
I think it will be a great addition.
definitely. But I also feel, Siddharth, that a country like India, which is so heavily depending on services industry, this AI revolution is going to be tough. It is going to be tough for a lot of people.
Uh, Explain that.
So, I mean, somebody who is just starting out their career, the initial earlier job, since like we just talked about crunching numbers, right? So, those jobs will not be there. So, I mean, he or she will find it difficult to enter into the workforce. Because initial jobs, what I feel is those jobs will be cut down bottom of the food chain. So, for example, we have seen a lot of automated IVR options. So BPO jobs are there, and then we have seen customer care solutions being built on AI. So those jobs are in danger. So initial bottom of the chain jobs where entry level workforce is there. So that jobs are going to be diminished.
So I want to ask another question in this regard. Which jobs you think will be the last ones to be replaced by AI?
Maybe a lawyer.
Definitely, yes. But I'm asking more from the context of, let's say, marketing teams or the whole corporate teams. What is the last department, last areas where you feel that human intervention is still required?
I see. Basically, where you need to own the responsibility or of your actions. So let's say, if who will approve the budget, and AI cannot approve the budget, right? You need to have that budget signed off by multiple people. One from finance, one from marketing, one maybe your management team, or maybe a founder. So their AI will not work, because someone should be accountable. You cannot go and say chat GPT की वजह से हो गया. That will not be taken into good faith. So when accountability is more, I think those jobs will be there, because you need people to be accountable for. And where you are only executing stuff, those jobs will be gone. If not all, then some will be gone.
But this is in contrast to a recent news that I read regarding marketing agencies.
Okay.
So this news just told that many larger agencies, the Ogilvy's of the world, they are letting go of senior and mid management.
Yes. Yes.
And I know this is controversial from coming from me, because I'm kind of a part of that particular fraternity. But why do you think it's happening in that case?
So I mean, maybe those who are laid off, or I would say, those are not having a lot of accountability in that manner. They will be there because of their connections, and because of their core skills. So as I was saying earlier, core skills, or the role of core skills, will not be there as in the long run. That will diminish as we go along, because a lot of things will be automated. But yes, I mean, if I ask you, so let's put it that way. So if I ask you that we have lost 10 lakhs per month, right, in marketing, who would you rather have a word with, an AI or an actual person?
An actual person, no doubt about it.
Contrast, another question. If you have to execute 10 lakhs worth of campaigns, who will you trust more, an AI or an actual person?
I will probably get a plan from an AI, but I will let the final decision making to the
No, I
person.
mean, I'm not talking about decision, I'm saying executing, making those ads and making them live.
I would probably go with an AI.
See, so that's there. So when we talk about, I guess, accountability, so we need an actual person to have a conversation with, that why it went wrong, what can be done, what else could have been there, right? But when we are talking about pure execution stuff, then a machine is more probable to have a flawless execution. because human error will not be there.
Correct.
And it can work 24/7.
Correct.
It doesn't have to have that emotional bandwidth,
Yeah.
all the bandwidth of the work, right?
I don't want to say some things, but yes, I think this is a very good end to the conversation. I feel that we discussed very good points, and there are things which I'm sure we may not have discussed. And if you want us to discuss them in the future podcast, please comment on the YouTube video below. Please comment on the Instagram videos that we share, and if you feel that this is something really, really good for you, do subscribe it.
Thank
See
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.